start seated today, so if you want to grab yourself a pillow or a blanket, something to sit on. So good morning. We'll start seated today, comfortable cross-legged position. I always recommend a little lift underneath the hips, but just sitting on the edge of that lift. Looking to lift more kind of the sits bones, the tailbones, back side of the pelvis rather than the front side of the pelvis. And we're just going to start sitting up nice and tall. Belly in. Long through the back body, long through the front body, long through the back of the neck. Equal length on both sides of the waist. Lengthening from pubic bone to collarbones and tailbone to the base of the skull. Eyes are closed, breathing soft, deep, and easy. Making a promise maybe to yourself, setting an intention to be kind to yourself this morning. To meet your body where it's at, not where you think it should be or where it was yesterday or any variation other than right here, right now. We'll take about 3 or 4 more breaths here. Letting go of anything that does not serve us, this time on the mat. And then just go ahead and switch the feet, place the other ankle in front. And once again, feel. Feel how that changes things in your hips. Maybe it changes things, therefore, in your waist. How it translates up through the crown of the head. It's all connected. If this side is a little less comfortable, does it cause you to clench your jaw? Go ahead and bring fingertips down by your sides. Spread the fingers wide. Leave the left hand down on the floor. Reach the right arm up alongside the ear. Start to walk that left hand out till that right hip gets light. When it does, press into that left hand, gluing that right hip back down. Lengthening the right side of the body. Oh, maybe lift the gaze up under that right arm. Reach the right arm back to the right shoulder height. Palm up. Turn your gaze down to your left hand. Lengthening now from the tips of the fingers on that right hand through the crown of the head. Inhale all the way back up. Both arms reach up overhead. Lift your heart up towards your thumbs. Exhale, release both hands back down to the floor. Leave the right hand grounded. Reach the left arm up alongside the ear. And then start to walk that right hand out until that left hip gets light. And then go ahead and press into that right hand, gluing that hip back down as we lengthen through the left side of the body. Those first couple of stretches always feel so good. Go ahead and look up underneath that left arm. Breathe into the left side. Reach the left arm back to the left, palm up. Turn your gaze down to your right hand. We're still lengthening from fingertips to the crown of the head, but this pose can feel very different on one side compared to the other. Just observing. Inhale, arms all the way back up. Lift the heart up to the thumbs. Exhale, release, interlace fingers behind the back. Reach the knuckles away, open the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Watch that the shoulders don't round up towards the ears. If you find your chin really lifted, that might be what's going on. Bring length into the back of the neck again. Maybe shake the head yes, shake the head no. Inhale all the way back up, arms reach up overhead. Float the knees. Leave the ankles crossed, maybe float the feet. Switch the cross of the ankles. Bring the feet all the way back down. Once again, interlace fingers behind the back. Awkward thumb on top. Open the chest and fold. Again, make sure the back of the neck stays long. We carry enough tension around in our necks. This is our chance to let some of that go. Inhale all the way back up. Bring the right hand down to that right thigh. Left hand is kind of off that left hip. We're going to fold out over that left knee. But we're going to keep this right side grounded as we do. Inhale all the way back up. Left hand comes down to that left thigh, right hand outside the right hip, reaching the heart past that right knee. Keeping this left side grounded. Another breath here. Inhale all the way back up. Arms reach up overhead. Once again, float the knees, float the feet. Switch the cross of the ankles again. Bring the feet all the way back down. Once again, right hand comes to that right thigh, left hand outside the left hip, and reach the heart past that left knee. Which ankle is in front makes a big difference. And yet, usually when we sit down, we don't even think about it. Inhale, arms all the way back up again. Bringing the left hand down to the left knee, right hand outside the right hip. Reach the heart past that right knee. Inhale all the way back up again. Exhale, release the arms out to the sides, out to a T. Give yourself a hug with the right elbow on top. Let the shoulders come down away from the ears. Rounding the spine, reach those elbows forward, reach your heart back. You can go ahead and drop your chin down towards the chest, nothing dramatic, just letting go in the neck. Pull the belly button in. As you release, you can stay right here. Keep working on shoulders down, maybe elbows up, or come to eagle arms. Belly in, ribs in, shoulders down, elbows up. Maybe lift the heart up towards the ceiling. Even if you're in hug and not eagle arms, go ahead and just lift the chest. Tiny bit, belly still in. And go ahead and release, open the arms out to a T again. Give yourself a hug with the left elbow on top. And just stay here for a moment. Feel it out. And then when you're ready, start to press your heart towards the back of the room. Pull the belly button in, reach the elbows forward. Maybe the head droops a little bit. Inhale, lengthen the spine again. Now you can stay right here, dropping those shoulders down, lifting the elbows up to give yourself just a tiny bit of a back bend. Or if you'd like, come to full eagle arms. Same deal, shoulders down, elbows up. Lift the heart slightly towards the ceiling. And release. Open the arms out to a T again. And release. Hands down by your sides. Bring the focus and attention to the tip of the nose. And we'll just start to draw an infinity symbol with the tip of the nose. So figure 8 on its side. How big, how small this movement is up to you. I do recommend, however, doing it slowly and not rushing past anything. And in fact, if you find something interesting, hang out there for a moment. Next time you pass through center, change direction. Next time you come to center, pause. Turn it into a proper figure 8, up and down. Just drawing that shape with the tip of your nose. Eyes are closed if balance is comfortable with that. And we're just feeling. Next time you pass through center, pause and change direction. Sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies to me as well. As long as nothing is painful, I think we're good to go. Go ahead and release. Back to neutral. Go ahead and clear your space and we'll come to hands and knees. Spreading the fingers wide. Index fingers pointed forward. Creases of the elbows are turned forward. Knees are lined up under the hips. Feet are in line with the knees. Let's just start with some circles with those hips. So take the hips off to one side, down towards your heels, up to the other side. Bring them forward a little bit. And just move them around. Change direction.
meet back and a neutral spine. Reach your right leg back behind you, toes curled under on the floor. Press back that right heel. And so we don't want to just sort of hang in our lower back here. We want lots of energy from the right heel through the crown of the head. So belly is in, ribs are in. We're pushing the floor away. You can even get a little bit light in that left knee. It's kind of a good indicator if you've got the rest of the body activated. Pressing that heel back, finding something that feels good in the calf, but energetically all the way up through the crown of the head. And then you can go ahead and rock front to back a few times if you'd like, finding a nice stretch along the bottom of the foot, the calf, wherever you need it. Take one more breath. Next time that heel reaches back, pause, press firmly into the top of that left foot. Float the right leg, just hip height. We don't need to get real high with that heel because it will start to tilt the hips forward. So we want to keep reaching back with the right heel, forward with the crown of the head. Get light in the left hand. Maybe it's just fingertips at first and maybe you stay there. Otherwise, you can reach that left arm forward, thumb up. Pushing the floor away, belly in, ribs in, all of that will help with the balance. I'm also really pressing this right or left foot into the floor. Bringing that left hand back down. Take this right foot off to the left. Toes curl under. Look over that left shoulder. Release that right leg back behind you again and bring the knee down. Go ahead and curl the toes under. Sit back on the heels. Now we do want that root knuckle of the toes down on the floor. If that doesn't come to you pain-free, it may not be comfortable, but it shouldn't be painful. You can lift the knees a little bit. Stand up on the knees, or you can always skip it. Roll those wrists around. Take one more breath here. Bring the hands back down, float the feet, roll the ankles, wiggle the toes. Pat them out a little bit. Back to your tabletop. Reach the left leg back behind you. Press back that heel. Again, we're not just sort of stopping at the knee, the hip. We're reaching all the way through the crown of the head. And you can go back and forth a little bit. Next time that heel reaches back, pause. Press firmly into the top of the right foot. Float that left leg. Now again, not too high. You can look underneath you. You should still be able to see those left toes. They should be pointed down at the floor. Pretty firm in that right foot as well, so that we can get light in the right hand and maybe reach that right arm forward, thumb up. But we're looking for length here, not height, but length. One more breath. Bring that right hand down. Left foot goes off to the right, toes curl under. Look over that right shoulder. Reach that leg back behind you again. Bring the knee down. Once again, we're going to curl those toes under, sit back on the heels. Go ahead and interlace the fingers. Roll those wrists around. All directions. Release, hands come back down, float the feet, roll the ankles, wiggle the toes, maybe pat them out a little bit. Take another breath here. And then we're gonna go ahead and stand up on our knees. You can leave tops of the feet down on the floor or toes curled under, whatever gives you the most stability. I am able to point my toes back far enough, my ankles are almost on the floor, so I actually prefer to have the tops of my feet down, but really up to you. Hips are lined up over knees, shoulders over hips, and engage those legs. Imagine you are going to spread the mat with your knees. So you're going to feel that up into your hips, maybe even around into your belly a little bit. Go ahead and place your hands in imaginary back pockets, or maybe real back pockets. Go ahead and bring your elbows towards one another. So already the chest is nice and open. Watch that you don't let those ribs pop out. We don't want to collapse into our lower back. The hands are there to kind of remind us to keep that tailbone down. Squeeze the elbows towards one another. We want to leave the hips in that same alignment over the knees, but maybe we can start to drop the head back a little bit and lift the chest. Now, I'm not one to just drop into the back of my neck. That doesn't feel good. I can't breathe very well. So I'm just real cautious. I try and keep my chin down and in while lifting the heart. And release. You can sit back on your heels. You can come to child's pose. You can just rest standing on your knees still, whatever feels best to you. We'll meet standing on our knees again. Watch that your big toes are not touching. They should be in line behind your knees and knees underneath the hips. So we're not making a V shape behind us here. Spread the toes, whether the toes are curled under or tops of feet are on the floor. We need our legs really active here to keep our hips nice and stable. So energize those legs. Once again, it's as though you're spreading the mat right to left with your knees. Go ahead and place your hands in the back pockets. Squeeze the elbows together, pull the belly in, and lift the chest. It's not a big move. It does not take much for this to be a significant back bend. One more breath. Exhale, release. Again, rest any way that feels good to you. Back bends are stimulating to the central nervous system. So if you feel your heart rate up a little bit or your breath and you're wondering why it's not that big of a move, that's part of it. We're going to do that one more time, that camel pose. Just a nice soft camel. We're going to line up, knees under hips, feet in line with knees, belly in, ribs in, nice and strong. Hands go back, squeeze the elbows in, lift the heart. Tailbone is reaching down. If you would like, if you feel secure in that lower back, you can slide the hands down the thighs a little bit and maybe back bend a little bit deeper. But watch that you're not collapsing that lower back. You still want the length. Take another breath here. And release. Go ahead and let your big toes come to touch now. Separate the knees, outer hip distance, maybe even a little further, and we're going to come down to child's pose. You can have hands back by your feet. You can stack hands underneath your forehead. Your forehead should be supported on something, whether that's hands, a pillow, a block, whatever it may be. Or you can have your arms out in front. You can rock a little bit from hip to hip. It's really your time to kind of observe how that back bend felt in the body. Take one more breath here. And bring the hands back to around your knees. Plant the hands, lift the head, curl the toes under. Lifting the knees, walk your hands back towards your feet and start to lift the hips. The heels will relax down towards the floor. Keep the knees nice and bent. All 10 toes are pointed forward. Watch that you don't have your feet out to the side or overly pigeon-toed. Feet are parallel to one another. You can shake the head, yes, no, shimmy the shoulders, sway a little bit, or stay still. Totally up to you. Knees are soft enough, though, that you can have your hands down and support that upper back. Take another breath here. And then go ahead, slide the hands up the shins to just below the kneecaps. Reach the heart forward, reach the hips back, pull the belly in. Exhale, forward fold. Slide the hands up the shins, press the shins into the hands, straighten the elbows, lift the hips. Exhale, forward fold. One more time, inhale, halfway lift. Watch that your knees aren't locked. We're looking to lift the hips. Release. Inhale all the way up. Deep bend to those knees. Push into the heels. Reach arms up overhead. Lift your heart up to your thumbs. Exhale, heart center. Go ahead and inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk yourself out to plank pose. Rock forward in your plank. So up to those tippy toes, knees come down, reach your heart forward. Come all the way down onto your belly. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Leave the right hand where it is, right next to your ribs. Open the left arm out to a T. Bend that right knee. Roll over onto your left side. You have the option to place that right knee up towards the ceiling. You can let the leg relax if that's too much. Right elbow is up towards the ceiling. And we're pressing this left elbow down into the floor. One more breath. And release all the way back down under your belly. Left hand comes back to the ribs. Right arm reaches out to a T. Bend that left knee. Roll to your right side. Maybe that left knee is up towards the ceiling. Maybe the leg is relaxed. Pressing that right elbow down into the floor. One more breath here. And release. Back down under your belly. Plant the hands next to the ribs. Press into the knees and the tops of the feet. Pull the belly in. Push the floor away. Back up to tabletop. Left arm out to the side, up towards the ceiling. And then thread that left arm underneath the right. Right elbow's nice and high. Reach that right hip back. Watch that the left foot hasn't wandered off to the right. Be nice to your neck here. You don't have to press your ear into the floor. One more breath. Release. Back to tabletop. Right arm out and up towards the ceiling, and thread the right arm underneath the left. Left elbows nice and high. We want to keep those hips in line, so don't let that right foot wander off to the left. Keep reaching that left hip back. One more breath here. And release. Back to tabletop. Go ahead and stand up on your knees. Step that right foot in front. And we start with just 2 right angles here. Left foot is in line with the left knee is underneath the left hip. Right knee is in front of the right hip, heel directly underneath that knee. Pull in the belly, pull in the ribs, and press firmly into the top of that right foot. Reach arms up overhead. So just that alone, really it's the activation of this leg pressing down and the pulling into the belly. I can feel some stretch in the front of that left thigh. But if you'd like to sink a little deeper, start to wiggle that right foot in front a little bit, just a couple of inches, and then line up the knee over the ankle again. Still keeping all that engagement, all that lift. Option to take it a little deeper. One more breath. Exhale, release. Bring the hands down. Bring that right knee back next to the left. And stand up on those knees again. Grounding into the top of that right foot. Step the left foot in front. Find those right angles. Pull in the belly, pull in the ribs. Reach arms up overhead. And then maybe start to wiggle that left foot forward. Knee over ankle. Don't go too far too fast. You might miss something. Take another breath here. Exhale, release. Hands come down around. Curl those right toes under. Step the right foot forward. Feet are parallel again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. You may want to block for this. So if you have some available, go ahead and set them up in front of your feet. You can do this without a block. I'll give you both options. When you're ready, inhale, arms up overhead. Bring that right hand behind the back. Bring the left hand down to a block in front of that right foot or on your right shin. But we want some height here. So think more flat back than forward fold. Right leg is towards straight, but not knee locked. Left elbow is straight. Bend that left knee as much as you can without the heel leaving the floor or locking out that right knee. And then start to turn and look over that left shoulder. And we're looking to get shoulders stacked here towards the ceiling. So we're not looking towards the back of the room. The hips aren't wandering to the left, so we're peeking behind us. We want to see the ceiling. If your shoulders are stacked, you can reach that right arm up. Otherwise, leave the arm behind the back. Keep working on pulling that shoulder back. Watch that you haven't locked your right knee. One more breath. Exhale, release. Untwist, inhale all the way up. Bring the left arm behind the back. Right hand comes down to either block in front of the left foot or your left shin. Either way, we're gonna have a straight right arm. I'm gonna bend that right knee. Watch that you don't lock the left knee. Start to look over that left shoulder. And if you've got a clear view of the ceiling, if your shoulders really are stacked, chest is open, then you can go ahead and reach that left arm up. Check out the weight distribution in your feet. Inside edge, outside edge. Try and even it out. One more breath. Exhale, release. Soften those knees. You can set your blocks off to the side. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms out. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Blocks or floor, release the hand. Step the left foot back. Line up the right knee over the right ankle, right hip in line with right knee. Left leg is strong and straight. If you look at your alignment underneath you, you don't have one foot in front of the other. You're on a diving board. Heart open towards the front of the room. Pull in the belly, pull in the ribs. Bring that left knee straight down and inhale, arms up. Get taller. Imagine dragging the feet towards one another. One more breath. Bring the right hand down, left hand under the left shoulder. Look over the right shoulder. Reach that right arm up. Enjoy the twist, or if you'd like, reach that right arm for the back of the room and add in a little extra quad opener by grabbing that left foot. Right knee is in towards the midline. One more breath. Release that left foot back down. Bring the right hand down inside the right foot. Wiggle the right foot off to the right slightly, giving room for the shoulders, and just rock around in that right hip. One more breath. If you've got blocks handy, go ahead and grab them again. We're going to roll up on the right heel and extend that right leg out to the side. Go ahead and back those blocks up so that you have the left hip over that left knee. So we're just gonna start sitting up nice and tall here. Right foot is active, toes are spread, foot is flexed. And then it's as though you're trying to drag the right heel back with your right hip. Pull the right hip back. And then if you'd like to fold, you can, but we want to keep that same alignment and activity in the hips. So we're not looking to get tailbone under and chin to the chest. We're trying to reach that right hip back. And maybe the heart forward. Now you can stay right here, or if you'd like, you can start to slide that right heel out. And since we no longer have the left hip over the left knee, we now want to think about shoulders over those hips. So nice and tall here, kind of a cockeyed splits. Take another breath. And release, pull that right heel back in. Plant the foot. You can use your blocks or set them off to the side, but we're gonna once again step to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift.
Exhale, forward and down. Inhale all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, heart center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands. Of course, you can have your blocks. Step your right foot back. How far back? Till you've got left knee over left ankle and hip in line with knee. If your stance is short, that hip will be higher than the knee. Reach the heart slightly forward. Make sure you've got the right alignment for the feet, diving board, not balance beam. Bring that right knee straight down and inhale, arms up. Get taller. Take another breath. Left hand to the thigh, right hand under the right shoulder. Look over that left shoulder, reach the left arm up. Option to stay right here or reach the hand for the back of the room and perhaps catch that back foot. Now watch that your chest doesn't collapse to do it. I see this all the time in classes. Keep the heart open. One more breath. Releasing that back foot. Bring the left hand down inside. Wiggle the left foot off to the left a little bit. Give yourself some room. And rock around in that left hip. Take one more breath here. And then maybe grab those blocks. We're going to back up the hips so they're over that right knee again. Extend the left leg, roll up on the left heel. So I want my blocks a lot further back as well. So I want to find length in the spine first. Left foot is flexed, toes are spread, and it's as though we're trying to drag that heel in, which causes us to line up those hips a little bit better. Stay right here, or maybe start to forward fold. But it's still left hip back. You can keep working on this right here if you want to try those cockeyed splits on this side. You start to slide that left heel out and forward. Backing the shoulders up over the hips, lifting the chest. Take 2 more breaths here. Go ahead and soften. We're going to drag that left foot back, leave it outside the left hand. Curl the right toes under. Step the right foot outside the right hand. Toes can be turned out slightly. Place your forearms on your thighs. And we want to keep those knees pointed over the pinky toes. Drop the hips a little bit lower. Maybe bring the hands to the thighs. Lift the heart a little higher. Drop the hips a little lower. You can rock a little bit from hip to hip, if that adds some value. Maybe let go. Lift the heart a little higher, drop the hips a little lower. One more breath. Release the hands. Lift the hips. Straighten out the feet. They can still be wide. Totally whatever feels best for you.
You want to soften the knees enough to let the hands come down to the floor or blocks so that we can release that upper back. Take another breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach the hips back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up, arms reach up overhead. So feet are still wide. Go ahead and bring the right hand down to the right thigh. We're going to start to walk that right hand down towards the right knee, grounding into that left foot, reaching with the left arm. Inhale all the way back up. Switch the hands. Still grounded in that right foot, start to come down towards that left knee and lengthen the right side of the body. Inhale all the way back up. Right hand comes down to that right thigh again. This time as you start to go down towards the knee, come up on those left toes. Shift the weight into that right foot. Keep shifting, keep shifting. Maybe you can flex the left foot and float. Bring the left foot back down. Right arm reaches up, left hand comes down. We come down towards that knee, lifting up onto the right toes. Lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. And then maybe consider floating that right foot. Flexing at the ankle. One more breath. Bring that foot all the way back down and release. So I am going to attempt to come down to a squat with my heels grounded. Everybody's hips are different. Everybody's knees are different. So what your body tells you, listen to, more so than anything I have to say here. I like to have my feet a little bit wider than my hips. Turn the heels in a little bit so my toes are turned slightly out. And then sending the hips back. So I'm not coming down to the squat this way. I'm sending the hips back as I come down into this squat. You may have to adjust where your feet are. If you feel like you're so close, grab a pillow or a blanket and just place it underneath the heels. Bring that tiny bit of lift that you can maybe then sink into the heels a little bit deeper. You do not have to have your arms out in front. I do just for balance. But maybe you can bring hands to heart center. Take one more breath here. And release. Go ahead and lay down on your back. Knees bent. Maybe have a pillow or blanket nearby. Use it a little bit. Start to wind things down though a little bit more. Knees are bent. Line up the heels with the center of the hips. I just noticed my feet were a little bit wide. Bring those in. Looking for that feeling of parallel in the feet. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. Send the right heel up towards the ceiling. Now you can go ahead and hook your hands low on that right thigh to help support it. Go ahead and roll that right ankle in circles. All directions. If you're holding on to that leg, go ahead and release. Ground that right hip into the floor, reaching with that right heel. Reach the right leg forward, down towards the floor. Just as the heel kisses the mat. Go ahead and slide that heel back in towards your hip. Knee comes back in towards the chest, send the right heel up. Send the leg forward and down. Slide it in. Knee towards chest, heel up. And keep going. Keep this left leg engaged. It'll help with the stability and kind of isolating the work, or the movement, I should say, into that right leg. Next time that leg comes down to the floor, let it just relax. Option to let the left knee fall to the left, only if that feels okay on the hip. Release, bend both knees again. Back to where we started. Left knee comes in, left heel goes up. Now you can hook the hands low on that left hamstring if that helps support it a little bit. Open the toes on that left foot and roll the ankle around in circles. All directions. Reaching that heel up, arms are now down by your sides, grounding that left hip into the floor. So you're going to need some engagement on that right side. The hips don't move completely independently, so if I let this right side relax, it'll affect the left. Reach that left heel forward, down towards the floor. Just as it grazes the mat, slide that heel back in. Knee comes in towards the chest, heel goes up. Reaching forward and down. Pulling in. Pressing up. Keep going. Again, this is one of those moves that, we could, kind of speed it up and it'd be like on a bicycle. I feel like you lose something there. Sometimes these slow muscle movements can almost be more effortful. So if it's too much, change it up. Next time that leg comes down to the floor, let it just relax. Let the right leg relax as well, whatever that looks like for you. Bending both knees again, feet down on the floor. You can grab that pillow or blanket. You could even use a block. I'm looking for a little bit softer of a back bend here, so I'm going to lift the hips, slide this underneath. Let the hips relax and let the legs extend. Letting the belly relax, opening up the front of the hips in a very soft way, letting the quads relax. Of course, if it's too much back bend, remove whatever you're using from underneath the hips and let the hips just come down to the floor. Should be able to relax wherever you're at. Another breath. Go ahead and bend your knees. Lift up off of that support, remove it. Off to the side, all done with that. Go ahead and set your hips off center to the left. Open your arms to a T or goalpost. bring the knees in and over to the right. We want to keep that left shoulder grounded. But other than that, almost everything's up for grabs. You can rest a hand on that top knee or a blanket. Turn the head to the left, right, or center. Slow down the breath. Inhale the knees all the way back up. Set your hips off center to the right. Bring the knees in and over to the left, keeping that right shoulder grounded. And whatever else you need to allow yourself to just let go. There should be little to no effort in this pose. I can feel my legs trying to work a little bit. So I'm trying to send them some of my exhale, release energy. Often takes just as much practice to let go as it does to engage. Go ahead and bring the knees all the way back up. If there is anything else your body needs before coming to Shavasana, you can go ahead and address that. Eventually, though, coming to a place of rest. If your back is bothering you, you can have knees bent, feet wide, knees falling in on one another. Another nice, sort of subtle support to the lower back is just grab a couple of throw pillows and place them underneath your knees. Shoulders are relaxed. Lengthen the back of the neck. You can always have a thin layer of pillow underneath your head. Breathe in, breathe out. When your mind wanders and you notice, bring it back. Over and over and over again. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. Bringing your awareness back to the room and back to your body. Wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, arms and legs.
Eventually bending your knees. Rolling over to your right side, pausing there for a breath or two. Until you're ready to press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, eyes closed. One more time. Just as we started the class. Notice how you feel. There are some days that a gentle, slow-moving practice is just what the doctor ordered. I feel grounded, I feel settled. I don't feel sleepy, per se. I feel relaxed. Like I said, maybe pushed a little bit of a reset button. Then we have other days where we need to move. Taking care of the body we encounter in that moment. Not what we think it should be able to do, but what we actually need right here, right now. Wishing you all peace and joy and love and light. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Namaste.